This week, we just completed the root chakra week. This week, we'll be starting the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is located, I'll show you, just below the belly button, above the pelvic bone. Just below the navel, above the pelvic bone. The sacral chakra is represented by the color orange, and of course, you're welcome to wear the representation of orange and what that means to you. As I showed you guys, I've got my cool bear shirt here with orange on it, so for me, that is fine and represents orange. And the reason we suggest that you wear color is that it's a reminder that, okay, orange, 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 sacral chakra, the invigoration of the sacral chakra. And what the sacral chakra's main purpose is experiential, sensuality, creativity, and passion. Most people do think of those things only in terms of sexuality, but they apply so much more to the greater sense of who you are, what you're doing, and your life's purpose. When we have no passion, we have no drive, we have no forward momentum or movement to create whatever serves us and others in this planet. So passion is what we're passionate about. The sacral chakra also talks about the senses, experiencing life, the openness to life. And one of the favorite things I've learned in the past couple years is the idea of humans, each personal human being a tool of the universe to experience itself. So if we are a tool of the universe in order to experience itself, we need to be able to have experiences, and the experiences that are most readily available are those ones we have through the senses: taste, touch, smell, sight, feeling. So the more in touch we are with those things, the more able we are to experience life. When we ignite the sacral chakra, it's like we take our blindfolds off. It's like we taste things for the first time. I often think that if that is true, the universe is experiencing things through me, through you, through each of us individually. I always think that the universe is having a lot of fun experiencing things through me, that it wants to live through me, it wants to experience things. As you guys know, I live full and hard and completely, and really do give thought and feeling to my passions so that I may live in a full way. And one also important thing is the gratitude behind it. If the universe is experiencing through you, if it gives you something special and you don't have gratitude for it, I think it's like everything else. The universe won't give it again, because why would it give you something else wonderful if you don't know how to say thank you for it? So for example, I have a beautiful travel experience. Instead of being like, oh, I traveled, that was cool, I'm like, wow, every single moment of that day was amazing. I love it so much. Wow, the food, wow, the life, wow, this, wow, that. So the universe gives me lots of opportunities to experience things because it's enjoying the experience so much through me. So I'm going to go ahead, and as you guys know, I have all my chakra flags. Today is the orange, the sacral chakra, and it's about love. I love all dimensions of myself. I delight in weaving the creative tapestry that is my life. So when we talk about those things, the creative tapestry that is my life, life is totally unknown. We have no control except our reactions. The root chakra has a lot to do with adaptability as well. Sure, I'd be happy to read it again. Here, let's go to my chakra tree now, just for a change. Adaptability, right? I love all dimensions of myself. I delight in weaving the creative tapestry that is my life. And life really is a creative tapestry. Like I said, the sacral chakra is all about adaptability. And I think specifically in this time that we're all living in, adaptability is such an important part of thriving. There's no one on this planet who is doing what they thought they would be doing, you know, with this whole COVID thing, specifically changing our lives in such radical ways. The borders are closed, restaurants are closed. So if we're too rigid in ourselves, if we are not adaptable, we won't be able to move through life, especially in these times which we have struggle. So the sacral chakra talks about flexibility, adaptability, and passion. So let's talk a little bit about that amongst ourselves. What about you guys? How have you found yourself needing to be adaptable or trying to find your connection to your passions now? Remember, you're on mute before you speak.
Well, I just ended my AmeriCorps service up on Cape Cod, group housing. So after a couple months of being in quarantine, they just closed the program down because COVID and group housing doesn't really mix. So I've had to be extremely adaptable before I left in the way that we served because we couldn't go out into the field. And now that I'm back at my dad's house in Tennessee, I'm having to adapt and adjust and plan for the future. And it's mostly what I was planning on doing anyway, because all of my worldly possessions are here and I've had to sort through them all, but adapting to what I want my life to actually look like next. My timeline has moved up a bit because it is what it is and we just got to keep moving forward. And there's no music camp this summer, so I don't get to be a counselor next month, which is very sad, but it is what it is, and I've had to adapt and adjust a lot, and I am almost to the end of my consolidation of all of my life, so making it through, finding my purpose.
What about your passions? I know music is a big passion for you.
Yes. It's weird right now because I'm an oboist and I freelance and I teach private lessons, but I didn't teach it all this past year because I was on Cape, and teaching private lessons right now anyway is a really tenuous thing because of the virus, especially because I make reads for myself and for my students, but sharing reads right now isn't very smart. So I've had to figure out what it looks like for me to be a musician and play my oboe when we're in the middle of a pandemic. And I've just been practicing as much as I can, which is never enough, and continuing to make reeds. But I miss playing with other people. I really do. I miss making music with others, and I'm hopeful that I get to again at some point, but I don't know.
One day at a time.
Precisely.
Yeah, my adaptability and change has definitely been quite stark. I'm definitely not living the life I was living. You know, at the beginning of this year, could honestly say I was living the life I dreamed. I had freedom, I had travel, I went out, I had dates, I did this, I did that, my business was thriving, and then it all ended. I lost my dogs when I moved into a yurt in my parents' backyard, and I had to be adaptable. I had to be, go with the flow of change. If I hadn't, where would I be now? What would I be doing? I mean, the reason that this retreat started is because of that, So without the adaptability, without the flexibility, without being in tune with my passion, which is healing arts and sharing community with others, then who knows? Who knows? I'm glad that this is the reality right now. And it comes back to the gratitude to the universe, like, wow, that really sucks. I'm grateful that I'm doing this now, you know?
Mhm.
Sandra, Dee, anything to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's thank you for sharing. It's really a moment for support. It's been a very, different year. I'm not gonna go back to say things that everybody's, kind of like it's saying. It's just what you were referring, that the universe will test you and will live life through you. Oh my goodness, he's having so much fun, really, because it's testing us in ways that we could not imagine. So I used to work in a company for 20 years, and I got let go when the pandemic, I want to say it in Spanish, happened. And for me, was this moment of realization as to, okay, I have to reinvent myself, and now I'm just gonna take it as an opportunity. And it was a bit scary, I would say, but every day I'm just, taking a day at a time with with the passion that I have, with the love that I have, with the most optimistic way. And for many, I used to work from home, so I was very used to be home. So I was in a quarantine for a long time. So for me, it's the other way around. Is when I go out of my house to do something, it's just like I'm missing out. So this weekend, for example, I'll just give you a short story. Um, I had a meditation retreat this weekend, and I had to drive like 2 hours to get there. But of course, I'm very bad with directions. I made a mistake. I put the wrong address, so I drove to a different place. My teacher was able to see my link, and he said, Sara, we're going to the wrong direction. So boom, 1 hour, that should I was like, well, in half an hour I'll be there, but it was not the case. I had to drive to a different direction. And in the meantime, I stopped, I was lost, and I saw a deer coming by. So I had to stop, wait for the deer to cross the street. And even though I knew I was wrong, and I had to drive back like 2 more hours, I just laughed, and I said, well, maybe I needed to meet this guy right here. So, hey, dear. And then I turn around and I go to the other direction. And when I get there, I don't find the house, and I call, and I went to a completely opposite side. So it took me 6 hours to get there. And there was a second that I thought maybe I just go back home, which would be faster. But that second disappeared right now. I was like, you're going to do what you were supposed to do. You're looking forward to do, this initiation. And when I got there, my energy was fresh. I was alive. I was happy. And I don't think 10 years ago I could adapt this quick. So I think if we are passionate about what we're doing and we are close with our community, we just experience something new. And my lesson is like, now I'm gonna really go and look at maps before I travel, for sure. So I need to be more grounded, because I'm always like, oh yeah, somebody's gonna, take me there. So I'm really grateful, and thank you for listening, because it's important to create this. Sometimes we live through other experiences, and I'm very honored for that.
And it's true, like you said, with one chakra releases the other chakra, in the root chakra, that rooting, that grounding releases the creativity. We have to have that grounding, because then we know ourselves, and thus we know our passion.
Yeah.
Dee, you have anything to say?
Not right now. Too much to tell you.
Awesome. That's my mom. She was so cute the other day. She comes to all the things, And the one day, you know, it's nice that everyone can access these whenever they want, because maybe you can't come, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. But my mom's been to everything, and the other day she was the only one for the 10-minute movements, and she says, "I'm your loyal warrior." And I was like, "You are, Mom? Oh my God." Like my whole life, my mom's been my loyal warrior. It's so sweet. But yeah, just as we move through this time, essentially, we do need that. Like, of course, for me, even having someone who believes themselves and through their actions have showed me, I'm your loyal warrior. I'm sticking by you. It helps us in this life because, again, the community, the safety gives us freedom to explore ourselves and our passion. So in this time, even though we're connecting over Zoom, I think that community is such an important thing to remember that, you know, you actually don't have to do this alone, that the whole world does support you. My belief is that our only point on this planet is to be the most ourselves we can be, and thus to be happy. Those are the only things we're supposed to be. If we can be the most ourselves we can be, we can find our joys, we can find our passions, we can explore them, and then we give light to other people to explore themselves, to explore their passions. I'm going to just quickly open up here a poem. I know you guys might have heard it, but it's one of my favorite poems ever. And I read it actually when I officiate weddings because I think it's such an important quote. All right, it's by Marianne Williamson. She is an author, and she actually, this poem was read during the Nelson Mandela inaugural address. This was his inaugural address. So people have confused it that it was his writing, but it's actually the quote of Marianne Williamson. The name of the poem is Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of the universe. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of the universe that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that poem and all its words. And the truth of it is that, yes, we are afraid of our own selves. And I think it's a form of control that we've learned since we're children. Like, don't say that you're funny. Don't say that you're pretty. Don't say that you're talented. Don't say this. Don't say that, because it's a form of control. If I claim that I am pretty, guess what? All that multi-million-dollar diet stuff and beauty stuff doesn't matter anymore because I don't need it. All that control, it's gone. And as I walk through, I mean, I had a very life-changing event in my life. So when it was about 10 years ago, I decided to get an IUD, which is a birth control contraception, and it's inserted and blocks anything going into any of your organs. And I thought that was a good thing for me to have. And one thing it did, it ended up, it's disappeared now, but I used to have my melasma, which is like, it's called a pregnancy mask. The hormonal reaction gives you these like spots on my face, and I hated it. I was like freaking out and thought I looked so ugly, and I was so upset, like, of anything on my body, because that's how we are. We're so judgmental. It was the spots. anything else except these spots on my face. And it wasn't even bad. Like, people didn't even notice them. It was just me noticing them. I went to South Africa and I saw my younger cousins. They're more than 10 years younger than me, and I've never worn makeup in my life. And these two younger girl cousins come up to me, and they're about in their late teens, early 20s, and they said, Tova, you know, we've never worn makeup because of you. You've inspired us never to wear makeup. And it was such a moving moment for me to hear that for them, that even in that moment of doubt and question, it's what inspired me then to never wear makeup. And how seemingly it's something so simple, the acceptance of beauty in myself translated to them, and then at the time I needed it, it was reflected back at me. So if we can go through this world doing things like that, things that are true to ourselves and inspiring to ourselves, we never know when it's going to be reflected back at that exact moment we need it. So that's going to be all we're going to talk about at the Sacral Chakra. Right now, you guys are welcome to talk more. And I might share this one. Is everybody okay if I share this one that we've just recorded? Cool. I'm going to sign off now because it's 10:28 and it's on to body awakening. We're going to get our sweat on. So, all right, I'm going to say goodbye here and see you guys in just a few more minutes.